So that when Kerry and Phil and not necessarily in any particular order.
$11th of May, yes. Dateline.
So we're looking at B4rc, and in parallel with that, presumably we want to look at phase 2 voucher scheme. I don't know if you want to pick up on universal service obligation and those kind of
phase 2 and the voucher scheme.
I mean, if I put it very
same thing, are they? No.
If I put it very simply, what I would like to take away, I mean, the whole purpose of this is to inform ourselves, but also the people that we distribute information to. And really, it's increasingly difficult to actually put sensible things in a chart like this, because generally they keep moving around a bit. If you think they're not moving, then that's great, and we'll write that down as well. But
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that I think there's a good need for that. But I'll be asking very simple questions, like in view of the latest government statement that people in the last 5% will have to apply for it.
Yep.
How do I, as a ward member, assist people? Do I go and knock on doors, and how do I sort of get enough people to make it viable? As a community, that's our looking at the community element. Does that make sense?
We can certainly do our best on that particular announcement. Although I have to say, given that it happened on Friday and we had no prior notice of it whatsoever,
really, it's just.
But for clarity, it was actually an announcement around the universal service obligation rather than superfast.
Okay.
Superfast, technically, the government. So I was at a parish meeting on Monday night, and people said, "We hear that the government has withdrawn the funding from the last 5%." Well, we hadn't got to the point of the government identifying any funding or committing any funding for the last 5%, so technically speaking they haven't withdrawn it. It doesn't relate to superfast, it relates to the universal service obligation. It's not a policy statement, it is them announcing that they're going out to consultation on the universal service obligation and then kind of advising.
Went off on one.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say that. Yes, so I don't think we can take that as policy, particularly given that they are in the process of consultation. You don't normally start the process of consultation by telling people what the end point will be, or if you do, that's not my understanding the best way of doing consultation. But it doesn't relate to superfast in the sense that there wasn't a manifesto commitment to providing for the last 5%. There is, and there remains a commitment from CDS at a regional level that we will do everything we can to lobby government and identify alternative funding or other technologies to achieve 100% by 2020, which is what we've always said that we would do. But we have equally always said phase 1 and phase 2 we've got the funding for, phase 3 we don't know.
Superfast is still 24, is it, or 30?
Superfast will be 30 for phase 2. So it is 30 for phase 2 on the moors. It will be 30 if not, and Carrie can tell me whether the thinking's changed, if not higher, but it will be at least 30 for phase 2, and could be higher.
And the commitment was that those who were not covered by phase 1,
those people who are not covered by phase 1 will be in consideration for phase 2.
Oh, in consideration.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
It means that they haven't actually achieved the objective, so they're equivalent to people who don't get anything. Is that right?
Yeah. So the targets are all around superfast. So if you don't currently have superfast, you will then be considered for phase 2. But obviously, phase 2 technically is up to 95%. So being outside phase 1 does not automatically mean that you would be within phase 2. However, our intention is that 95% is an absolute minimum, and we're talking to industry and we're saying a number of things. One is, if you think you might just about be able to get us to the 95% target, then probably don't bother applying, because we want aspiration, we want people who can say, yeah, fine, and we want people who will aim to do 96, 97, 98, 99, or possibly 100. 100 is possible. We have some suppliers who have expressed an aim, or who have kind of said, if we decide to come in, we don't want to faff around. We'll just do everything. We will be looking at weighting the tenders in favour of communities that have been split by the way that the phase 1 model has.
That's
operated.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if it's been partly overbuilt and then some have been left out, that's really
yeah. And there will also be weightings for harder to reach areas. So again, we want to avoid any notion of kind of cherry picking down to the easy places. And obviously, there are far fewer easy places to go to under phase 2 than there were under phase 1. But there's been a lot of building that's gone on since phase 1 started. So there are new areas outside urban areas that may not be within the open market review. So we will very much be weighting the selection process.
And you're looking at a range, a package, a bundle of ways of delivery, are you not?
I think, I think logically, because a significant proportion of FTTC has already been done, there are areas, so all those areas which are on long lines will be considered under phase 2, but clearly cannot be done through FTTC or the existing FTTC structure, because they currently sit on cabinets that have been done, but they're too far away from. So there'll need to be other technologies. So possibly introduction of new cabinets that will provide more fibre. There is still some FTTC to be done, but there's also straightforward fibre. There's wireless. The satellite will be in the mix at some point, but maybe not towards the very last couple of percentage points. Sorry.
Does the phase 2 criteria? I mean, you said it favours companies that will try and mend communities that have been split by phase 1. Are you also favouring those companies who can offer technologies that are symmetric?
I don't know is the answer to that.
So that would be something that we're just extending the sins that actually, if we're all honest, we know exist. Well, symmetry is livable with today, but in 10 years' time it won't be, and there's a lot of ripping up and redoing having to be done. So I think there are a lot of people who would like their money to be spent now on getting it right first time. And I realise that can't be done across the board, but if you can put that in the criteria to try and move us forward.
Sure, I understand. I mean, I don't know is the answer to that, but Phil and Carrie undoubtedly will. I think there is a question of finding a balance between a logical, long-term future approach to things, which is entirely sensible, set against the programme is charged with delivering superfast as defined by 24 meg or 30 meg to 95% by the end of 2017. That's what we're charged with doing. That's what the funding is there for. And for some people, well, for many people, the desire is for the now. So recently, scheme I did with Parish Halls, where some people are saying, well, satellite's rubbish, it doesn't deliver, we will know the issues around satellite. But you have other people saying, I don't care. I don't want to do gaming. I do have an actual